Hey there, it's Ben from patternprofits.net. I wanted to share with you how I go about scanning for inside days, and then we'll discuss a little bit how we trade them. I'm in TrendSpider here. I'm going to hit Market Scanner, and I have the scan already saved for daily inside outside. What we're looking on the daily time frame for an inside bar, any inside bar. And just to give you an example, if you're familiar with the strat, there's a bunch of patterns here you can choose from. There's a bunch of different candle patterns you can choose from too to scan for. But in our case, for our purposes here, we're looking for inside bars. You can search for bullish inside bars that closed in the upper half, bearish ones that closed in the lower half. But for our purposes, we want any inside bar. And the reason I search for any is because for me, I want to highlight the inside day, but it's actually the move out of it that's actionable. We'll discuss that more later, but I have a bunch of watch lists to choose from. We'll start with scanning my focus list. The focus list is names that are CanSlim type names, growth names, good earnings estimates, good revenue growth, top groups, and their good relative strength names as well. We hit scan and it gives me 3 names today. Usually there's a lot more to choose from, but today, rough day in the market. Click on grow generation. You can see, yes, it is indeed inside a lower high today and a higher low. So yes, inside JD, you can scroll through them real quick and see, yep, that's inside too. In these patterns, I'll search for and highlight through multiple lists. I have a revenue growth list that I'll scan. These are strong revenue growers that are still negative earnings per share. I can go through my power earnings gap list. I can scan those. Again, gives me only a few names today. Like I said, normally I have more, but this is one I've been following. Let's take a closer look at this one. This is Dollar Tree, and you'll see that these inside days, a lot of times there's Confluence, and that's pretty much what we're really want to focus on. The fact that it's inside day alone doesn't really tell us much, but when it's inside day and there's a confluence like this, where you have volume weighted average price from the gap, you also have the moving average cloud just below. You have a volume shelf point of control just above. Those are the ones that really get my attention. And that inside day, the fact that it's a lower high, higher low, that tells me that there's a consolidation going on the shorter time frame. So if we were to zoom into the 30-minute, and I've been following this one for a while, so I already have it highlighted. Bring this over. Let me change my clouds to my shorter time frame clouds. So you can see here that what we have is a descending trend line from the high, and we have an ascending trend line off the lows. Now this pattern right here is our inside day today. So we have late in the day closed above that volume weighted average price that's from the gap, and that's an earnings gap there. So think about tomorrow, if we were to get outside of this pattern, what would it look like? So this is the high right here at 111.89 that we'd want to take out, and that would be our signal to get long. So you would have a trend line break here, which would get us up above the volume shelf and the point of control. So maybe it looks something like come up through here, then come back a little bit, and then bounce and come up. And you can target these prior highs over here, and depending on your time frame, even longer term, you get up to that high, maybe a little pullback here, and then off you go. That's what the position traders are looking for, is that move into new highs. So depending on your time frame, you're going to target these highs over here. But it's always a good idea to be buying into strength. So if you think about, the inside day coming out, you're getting in on strength, and that's always helpful when you're getting long. On the other hand, if it doesn't come outside and doesn't clear this high, and this trend line acts as resistance or it rolls over from the moving cloud, no harm, no foul. You didn't enter because you're only taking that entry on strength as it clears that high and that inside day comes out. So thinking in those terms and bigger picture, you can also scroll out to a weekly chart and you can see this nice little tight consolidation here. We can't take out the weekly high, which is 114.32, without coming out of that daily candle and that daily pattern I just showed you first. So we want to use the different time frames to help guide us in these decisions to enter, and also where to take profits, where to target. And a lot of that depends on your time frame. But I'm hoping that this helps you see, number one, how easy it is to scan for these inside days and find ones that are actionable, because as you scroll through them, you're looking at volume shelves, you're looking at whether it's moving averages or volume weighted average price, whichever you prefer, using those other indicators to find opportunities like what we see here in Dollar Tree. And going back to the daily chart, you can see this, there would be kind of a descending trend line here, and if it were to get outside of this little kind of flag pattern here, that's exactly what usually leads to higher prices. You had this big gap on the earnings beat, great numbers, and I hope that helps clear things up, show you how easy it is to scan for inside days. I want to keep these short and sweet, so I'll probably do a second video where we'll discuss bullish outside patterns. Thank you.